Well, according to newly obtained records from Bank of America, Hunter's associate, Rob Walker, wired more than $1 million to Hunter, James, and Hallie Biden in 2017 after he was paid $3 million from a Chinese energy firm. While Hunter got the lion's share of this, Hallie, who reportedly worked as a school counselor, received at least two payments totaling $35,000. A spokesperson for Hunter Biden's legal team on Thursday confirmed the payments, saying this: Hunter Biden, a private citizen with every right to pursue his own business endeavors, joined several business partners in seeking a joint venture with a legitimate energy company in China. Hunter received his portion of good faith seed funds, which he shared with his uncle James Biden and Hallie Biden, and nobody else. But Chairman Comer says big questions remain about the nature of the services rendered by the Biden family.
There was a lot of money that transferred from China to the Bidens, and what we want to know is, what did China get in return? Because I don't think China would spend this much money on this many different members of the Biden family if they weren't getting a return on their investment.
So I want to make this money flow clear for our viewers. We've created a chart. Tommy, I watched you as you shook your head during much of that. I think America's shaking their head with you. Here's the chart. As you can see, this makes it a little clearer for everyone. An affiliate of the CEFC, that's a Chinese energy firm, the affiliate, it's called State Energy HK, gives $3 million to Rob Walker. He's a Biden family associate. Rob Walker then gives just north of $1 million to James Gillier, who is a Hunter associate, and another $1 million to various Biden family members. James gets $360,000. That's the brother of Joe Biden. Hallie gets $35,000. Hunter gets the bulk of it. And then there's an undisclosed Biden. We don't know who this Biden is, who gets $70,000. And we're still asking, Tommy, what services Hunter Biden rendered, or the school counselor, Hallie Biden, to China?
For what? For what? And then the lawyers saying, listen, they're private citizens. They can do whatever they want. They can make money in whatever they want to, and they can share it with their family members. That's a load of baloney. All right. It's St. Patrick's Day. Phony baloney. Here we are. I can't believe that we are having this discussion, and yet much of the mainstream media is ignoring this like it's inconsequential. And they're going along with what the Hunter lawyers are saying, like they can do whatever they want. They can make money. No energy experience, making money from several energy firms which he has no expertise in. And the American people need to know, was our national security sold out for this? What did they do for this money? Even if Joe himself is not implicated, which we still really don't know, even if Joe was completely out of it and he is actually being truthful that he had no idea, they're using the Biden name when he was vice president. Now we want to know, what are they using now that he's the president of the United States, wants to run again in 2024? How much of our country is he and his family selling out for what? For what expertise? And the radio silence from the rest of the media on this is what, to me, is the most startling part of all of it.
Yeah, no questions asked in the briefing, from what I understand. Harris, you raised so many good questions, Tommy. One of them is the degree to which the president, or at the time, former vice president, had involvement. We know about the text messages that say this, don't mention Joe being involved. It's only when you are face to face. We know there was an email referring to the big guy. Bob Alinsky has identified Joe Biden as the big guy. A lot of questions about, does this evidence point to involvement?
So you can tell this is what, like back in the day, 2017, because it doesn't matter if you're face to face now. There are cameras with audio everywhere. So if you're going to be talking about illegal or untoward things, I guess you better do them in the cone of silence from 1960 with, the old TV show, Get Smart. What you said, though, was really interesting. So what Tommy's saying is there any exposure that we're experiencing now? Look at where we are right now with China. China's getting ready. Their president, Xi, is getting ready to go to Russia and cozy up with Putin. And they're offering to put some things on the ground for them in their war against Ukraine. It's taken Poland to lead, to promise to give them planes as of 24 hours ago, not the United States. One, we had something fly over with reconnaissance and collect all sorts of information from coast to coast before we decided to take it out. China's friend Russia immediately takes out our drone. And if anybody thinks that you aren't running into something on purpose, when planes can get close to each other and not hit one another, but they pour gasoline all over that U.S. drone in the Black Sea this week and take it out, I mean, what are we doing that would ever make China think that we're even a worthy adversary? Nothing. So is there some exposure that we're having as a nation based on any of these business deals? I think it's a fair question because the foreign policy right now does not track with what we're experiencing as risky, as dangerous, and as enemy-driven with China.
Not to mention the reticence to get to the origins of COVID-19. Did it start in a Chinese lab?
I
Yet
left
another
that one out.
Well, that's another one. Emily,
Yes.
one part of this memo James Comer put out I find particularly interesting is this portion. We'll put it up. The Rob Walker accounts made payments while vice president held public office. The payments we just put up on the wall were from 2017. He's not in office. This is from 2015. Robinson Walker LLC received a wire from a company that had an overseas bank account with $179,000. The next day, Rob Walker transfers $59,900 to his personal account. 3 days later, that money goes to someone named Robert Biden, which is the name for Hunter Biden. This is while Vice President Biden is in office. We don't know who this foreign account was that had this foreign money. We don't know if it was a foreign account, domestic account, but we know it had that foreign money in it.
Right. You know, I've been so impressed by everyone's generosity today on the couch because I'm not feeling that generous about this. To me, respectfully, the question isn't whether there's exposure, it's how much. It seems to me such a given. How much more evidence do we need dropped into the lap of the American people for us, meaning the left, meaning the Democrat administration in charge, to wake up and say enough is enough? We know, because before this started coming to light, that this is a burgeoning, amazing industry, thriving alive and well in D.C., the use of a last name, the commodity that is relationships and connections for financial gain. In fact, the Washington Post and many ilks like that like to report on that. But the second it concerns then vice president and now president, all of a sudden, it's ignoring it. It's ignoring the blatant, obvious emperor's new clothes that we have all seen for years. So I'm not quite sure what else needs to happen for there to be accountability. And what I am personally frightened for, especially in contrast with a witch hunt and the collective vilification of anyone whose last name is Trump, both in their charitable and their business endeavors, is that we might see some sort of iota in a footnote of the J section of the newspaper after Biden leaves office. Because everyone right now that is in danger is us. It's the taxpayers. Mm-hmm. It's all of us whose data is being it's all of us. Thank you so much. Thank you. Sorry, it's something in my ear. So much of that to me raises the questions because we're the ones that are being affected. It's our businesses whose intellectual property is being stolen. It's our security that is being threatened, and yet we won't hear anything until well after the fact.
Charles, Hunter Biden's representative called CEFC a legitimate energy company in China, right. But this was a part of the Belt and Road Initiative to extend China's influence abroad.
Yeah, it's interesting. He called them a legitimate energy company, but he didn't say that Biden was a legitimate energy consultant.
Right.
So, yeah, okay, I know where they're coming from. Yeah, maybe.
There you go.
It's so funny. It's sort of when we go to the movies, right, like Jurassic Park, we're supposed to suspend disbelief so we can enjoy the movie, right? For a moment, we believe dinosaurs exist. And that's what happens when it comes to your point, Emily, that the media, and Tommy, you made the same thing. This should be one of the biggest stories out there, a raging story. And I tell you what really, for me, is really telling, the timeline, how long it lasts. If Hunter sold his name and said, I can get this done and that done, and they forked over some cash and he didn't get it done, everyone would have walked away.
Yep.
But the cash kept coming and kept coming and kept coming. Why did the cash keep coming? He must have been delivering something, right? He didn't get a degree in petrochemicals over that time period. No. So that wasn't what were they getting? What were these foreign entities getting that they continued these relationships over a long period of time? Again.
And are they still getting it?
Right. Yeah. If they cut a check.
So much money that there's a residual effect
if you cut a check
to still be getting something.
And the guy says, listen, I can get you this, I can get you that, fine. Here you go. You don't get it, that's it. But the money keeps coming. It kept coming.
They got
That's
access.
the scary part.
And just noting the White House, in part, their response to this was that Republicans should focus on working with the president to deliver results. But Republicans can do two things at once. When I fill in this evening on the Ingram angle, we will have Chairman James Comer on of the House Oversight Committee. Lots of questions for him.
Hey, everyone. I'm Emily Campagno. Catch me and my co-hosts Harris Faulkner and Kaylee McEnany on Outnumbered every weekday at 12 p.m. Eastern. Or set your DVR. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page for daily highlights.